All right, guys, welcome back to the MMAOB Daily Podcast. It is Sunday, June 11th, 2023. It's the second half of today's podcast. We just finished up the UFC 289 recap, and now we will be going into the UFC Vegas 75 preview. So, Marcel, we got a lot of fights coming up this weekend. Just count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 fights on this card. Wow, 13, 14. Like, there's 14 fights in this card, so that's good. I prefer fight cards with 14 fights or 15 fights, personally. You're already watching it. Might as well get the most fights you can. So I always ask you this, Marcel, before we get into it. Like, what's your overall thoughts on this card?
It's an okay card, considering it's an Apex card. I think it's pretty good. I would give it a 7.5, probably. Yeah.
That's your rating? Yeah, I think it's a pretty good card, man, personally. I think there's a lot of good fights on this card. Even on the prelims, I think there's some fun fights on here, guys. So I'm looking forward to breaking it down with you. All right, Marcel, I say we just get into it right now. No need to waste any time. So first fight of the night, guys. We got the light heavyweights up as Zach Pauga takes on Modestas Bukauskas. Odds for this fight. Let me double check here. All right, so DraftKings doesn't have them up right now. That's where I usually pull them from. Let me just check fightodds.io. Best Fight Odds doesn't work anymore. Like, that site is just not updated. I don't know what they did. But fightodds.io is probably a better site for this now. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so DK doesn't have the odds, but FanDuel does. Okay, DraftKings is behind. That doesn't make sense. DraftKings, the UFC's official odds provider, and all the other sportsbook, Marcel, except for them, have the odds up. What are they doing? Anyways, all right, Modestas Bukauskas. Right now, he is about a minus 165 favorite for Pauga, plus 145 underdog, first fight of the night. I'm going with Bukauskas, Marcel. Listen, like, Tyson Pedro is very overrated. We know that now, but like, I was still impressed. Like, for a guy, like, listen, here's the thing. Like, he came back. He had that horrible leg injury against Curly Roundtree. He just destroyed him, right? Since he came back, he had 2 wins in Cage Warriors. They re-signed with UFC, comes in short notice, wins the fight against Pedro. He's a good fighter, and you think about it, he really should have beat Alexiak in that one fight. Oh, I always say that guy's name wrong. He should have beat him in that fight, so he should be 3-2 in the UFC right now. Like, he's a decent fighter. I'm more convinced he's a like better fighter. Like, Zach Pauga, I don't know, man. I liked his fights on the show. I like it look good, but then gets destroyed by Muhammad Usman. That's not a good look. And then Jordan Wright's never been the distance, and this guy couldn't finish him. Like, that's not a good look. Bukauskas, I know, will fight hard for 50 minutes. We know he has really good technical striking. He is improved. He's more confident than he used to be. It's crazy. He had this like severe injury. He's come back and looked better than ever. He's just a way more confident fighter. And if you look at the matchup, Modestas is the taller fighter, longer reach. He's 6 years younger. He has more UFC experience. Like, yeah, he's hittable, and Pauga does have some power, but nothing crazy special, in my opinion. I think Bukauskas goes out there and outstrikes and wins the decision. I like him in the spot. I think the odds are right where they should be. I think he wins, guys. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I also think Modi wins. I think he look a lot better, as of lately. I'm happy for him as well. I always thought he was a good talent, He got cut, unfortunately. Got into Cage Warriors, won the title, got back to the UFC on short notice against Pedro. I'm with him here as well. Pauga. I have a lot of expectations from Pauga, man, and I expected him to win the Ultimate Fighter, even at heavyweight. Then got knocked out by Usman, and in his last fight, that was a lackluster fight against Jordan Wright. Yeah, I'm also with Bukauskas. I think I'm picking him to win a decision here.
Yeah, we have the same pick. Get some comments. Joe likes the card. Me too, Joe. Pato, what do you think of the Apex? I mean, listen, like, they do fights there, like, because it's cheap to hold. They save money. But I do hope it goes back to the crowds and stuff, because I obviously prefer it. I think everyone does.
Apex was fun during the pandemics, if you really cannot do it anywhere else. But if you can do it anywhere else, should stop being lazy,
I think obviously the Contender Series should be there, but like other than that, maybe an occasional card, but not 2 or 3 a month. It doesn't make sense anymore. Like, you can go to different venues now. Anyways, Patrick likes Modestas. Yeah, I think so too. Rooting for Bukauskas. Yeah, it is an inspiration. I mean, like, the guy suffered a disgusting injury in that fight with the Roundtree, and he's come back and looked great. 3 straight wins now, right? So he's looked special. All right, Marcel, we'll go to the next fight here. we have the bantamweights up next as Ronnie Lawrence, the Heat, takes on Dan the Determined Argueta. Odds for this one: Ronnie Lawrence -170, Dan Argueta +145. Your thoughts on this one, Marcel?
Yeah, Ronnie Lawrence. I always had to make sure I don't call him Honey Lawrence for some reason. I don't know why. He's not Brazilian. He had that bad fight last time against Jakub Kakramanov. He got completely dominated, but Jakub is really legit, Then we had Argueta. He got that short notice guy, Nick Aguirre. He won that fight. Before that, lost to Damon Jackson in a very competitive fight, I would say. It's definitely in the last round. I still feel like I've got to pick Ronnie Lawrence here, man. Despite losing to Kakramanov, and he almost got finished in the third round against Mano Martinez. I still favor him here, man. I think he does his wrestling. I think he wins the decision.
Yeah, honestly, man, I think it's gonna be a competitive fight, guys. Personally, yeah. I think it's gonna be competitive. I think you will see some wrestling there from Lawrence, but man, I was just surprised how dominant his opponent was. Kakramanov is a great fighter, but Lawrence is such a good wrestler that I was really shocked we got taken down 10 times. Because if you look before that, he actually had 14 takedowns in the UFC. If you count his Contender Series fight, he had 26 in 3 fights. So I think we both assumed Marcel he would get some takedowns in that fight at least, and he got taken down 10 times. So it kind of makes you wonder a little bit, because Dan Argueta is a pretty good fighter. He's very tough, obviously good cardio. He's a decent wrestler himself. At the same time, though, I think Lawrence is a slightly better wrestler for sure. And I kind of think the camp. I like the camp too. I'm assuming he's still like Killcliff, right? So like the camp. I know Cub Swanson trains Dan Argueta and everything, but you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Dan wins. I will say that. I think he's definitely a live dog here. That's why the odds are close. But if you're asking me who I'm going to pick to win, it's going to be Ronnie Lawrence. I have to pick him. I think he wins the decision. That's my pick. So we have the same thoughts on that. What's up, Antoine? How's it going, man? Yes, 14 fights, and the card starts at what time? I didn't even see that.
Fucking late, dude. Same as the pay-per-view.
7 p.m. Oh, that's weird. Why is it starting so late? Is there
ESPN cards? So probably there's other sports before it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what sport it would be. Anyways, it's interesting. All right,
I know what you fucks are watching, dude, over there.
I'm on the States. I'm in Canada, so I don't know.
North America, I'd say.
Fair enough. We're going to Tereza Bleda against Gabriella Fernandes in the flyweight division. Bleda is favored here, -260 +220 in Fernandes. Let me break this one down first, Marcel. Honestly, I kind of feel like it's one of the more clear-cut fights in the card, to be honest with you. You have Bleda, who is a good wrestler, and we saw that against Naira Maya on Contender, 11 minutes of control. I understand she got smoked by Natalia Silva in the last fight. I get it, but still had a lot of control in that fight. Still had takedowns. Still had some submission attempts. Her ground game's good. And Natalia Silva is going to beat most of the fighters in the division. So I don't really take a lot from that loss. She's only 21 years old. She already has 7 fights. Not a lot of experience, but she's getting better. I know she lost the last fight, but I'm not going to write off a 21-year-old because she lost one fight. Fernandes, pretty good fighter too. And again, though, against Jasmine, taken down at will. Jasmine had 11 and a half minutes of control time. I get it, guys. MMA math and whatever doesn't work, but I think style clashes, that's something you could definitely look at when you break down a fight. And you have someone that it doesn't look like she can stop a takedown against someone who's going to try to take her down. I think Bleda takes her down and just rides her out and probably wins the decision or maybe even submits her. But Bleda is the taller fighter by 3 inches, 5 inches of reach, 8 years younger, superior grappler. I absolutely think she wins. Again, she is one of the bigger favorites in the card, -260, but I think she's a pretty good parlay piece, personally. I like her to win here, Marcel. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I'm with you. I think I like her as well. I think you cannot write off for somebody losing to Natalia Silva. I mean, as she, like I said, she had also control in that fight. She had some good moments in that fight. Gabriella Fernandes, she didn't do good against Jasmine, just to the vicious, I think. I don't think there's a favorable matchup for her at all, dude. I think Bleda does work, and she probably wins a unanimous decision. So, yeah, that's how I see it. That's pretty much the same breakdown as you had. So, what can I say?
I mean, I just think the numbers really show the tail of this fight. Again, we'll see what happens. But Bleda's a good fighter. And people forget, she actually has a win over Pudilova, Marcel, from a couple years ago. And it wasn't a pro fight. It was a 3-round, 3-minute fight, but that's a good win to have. Like there's no doubt against someone who's a pretty good grappler herself. So again, I don't think you can write off someone because they lost to, arguably the best prospect in the weight class right now, Natalia Silva. Marcel agrees with this. He says, Patrick says, can Natalia Silva just fight for a title already? I think we talk about her every show now, don't we, Marcel? Like literally, we talk about her more than most fighters, but she's a special fighter. We'll go to the next fight here, Marcel. We have the flyweights up next.
Sadie Zimlet.
Yeah, Zhalgas, Paddy Pimblett, Zhumagulov takes on Felipe Bunes, and the odds for this one have Zhumagulov -145, Bunes +125. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a difficult fight to pick, I think, man. I think we'll be super close, like almost every Zaddy's fight, let's talk about Felipe Bunes first. I think a really talented guy, coming from LFA, got the title there, finishing Yuma Horiuchi. Before that, I saw a lot of fights of him in ACA. He lost most of them, but all of them were competitive, and almost all of them he could have won, but he was in Russia, so he didn't have a lot of luck with the judges. Got a loss to Jussier Formiga right when Formiga went out of the UFC, remember? But Jussier Formiga, I always felt like it was a stupid cut from the UFC, and they clearly did it because he was beating up and comers, that they didn't want to get beat up by some guy, and Jussier did beat a lot of up and comers, and they didn't like that, so they got rid of him. Then we go to Zhalgas. Yeah, Zhalgas' story is pretty easy, He got 6 fights in the UFC. He lost 5, and 5 of those he should have won, maybe 3. The Charles Johnson one, the Molina one, and the Julian Paiva one are all 3 fights he could have won, And I think actually the Johnson and the Molina one he should have won, in my opinion, Fighting Bunes, I think Bunes makes it very competitive. There's going to be another close fight. Dude, I'll be so heartbroken for Zhalgas if he loses another split decision, But I'm taking Zhalgas here. But, man, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes split decision Bunes here. But, yeah, how about you, man?
I think it's also – it's a flyweight fight. A lot of them are very competitive, obviously, right? Obviously, Zhalgas' fights have been super competitive. He's 1-5, but, 4 of the fights have gone to the distance. And I think most of us thought he beat Jeff Molina for sure. That's a bad decision. The fight with Charles Johnson, it was close. I thought he won that too. And then Holly and Pive, I thought he won that fight. So I think he's kind of been screwed by the judges. I'm glad they gave him another shot in the UFC, obviously. He deserves it. Bunes, I'm still not sure because here's the thing. Zhalgas is not young either. He's actually the same age as me. He's 34. But Bunes is right behind us at 33. He's right there too. He's not the youngest guy. He's making his debut. And I'm not sure because he does have some good wins. He's a pretty good fighter overall. He's almost 20. This is his 20th fight, right? Came to the good camp, but also a lot of losses recently too. He's actually lost 4 of his last 7 fights. You don't really see guys like this get signed to the UFC. In fact, Marcel, Jussier Formiga he lost to in by submission in LFH last year. I know he did pick up 2 wins since then against that Horiuchi guy, and that was a good win for him to win the championship in LFA. But I'm just not convinced. He definitely has, he's got finishing ability, and he has, like I said, a lot of experience, so he's pretty good. But I don't know, man. We see guys getting signed with this many losses recently. When there's guys that haven't lost the arcade chance, it kind of surprising. He definitely could win though, because Zhalgas is just hard to trust, right? He just doesn't seem to have what it takes to solidify himself with the judges. Actually, Marcel, didn't he win? Didn't he have some really close fights in Russia, I believe, right, as well, earlier in his career too? So a lot of his fights go the distance and they're close. You said split decision for Zhalgas? Is that what you said?
No, I said just decision. I don't know. It can be split decision, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it might be split, bro. I think it could be. Because I'm looking at his career. He's actually had 4 or 5 splits, some majorities. Zhalgas Zhumagulov wins a decision. I'm with you. I don't know if it's going to be split or unanimous. I do think he wins. I would lean towards a split. I think it'll be a close fight. It's just that's the way he fights. He fights close fights. All right, we'll go to the next fight here, guys. Let's see here. All right, this one's interesting as well. Back in the flyweight division, Marcel, we actually have Dennis Bondar taking on Carlos Hernandez in the flyweight division. So back-to-back flyweight fights. You don't really typically see that. They put back-to-back flyweight fights, but it's interesting. Odds for this one are very close as well. Actually, Carlos Hernandez is the favorite now, -125. Dennis Bondar is +105. Dennis Bondar opened up as the favorite here, and the line's completely flipped. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Here's my thoughts on this fight. I liked Hernandez a lot as a dog. I really like when I saw the opening odds, I was like, oh, I'm taking a shot on this guy because for me, Marcel, like I know it was an injury, but I just wasn't impressed with what I saw with Bondar against Malcolm Gordon. And Malcolm Gordon's like arguably like the lowest ranked guy in the division. And then you look at Bondar's resume, it's kind of padded, guys. Like he hasn't fought anyone that's really that good. He's been fighting these guys and submitting them and stuff in Russia, Asia. I don't know. Some of these guys, like it's kind of a padded record. Actually, reminds me of that guy a little bit, that Hussein Abiskov guy that fought Jamal Emmers. Like great record, but you look at who he beat, it wasn't anything special, right? So, yeah, this guy's a pretty good grappler, and he's able to take down all these guys that aren't good at grappling. But like, I'm just not sure at the UFC level. Like Carlos Hernandez doesn't have the best takedown defense. I get it. He obviously got submitted in his last fight by Nascimento, but he beat Victor Altamirano, and even when he got taken down, he's able to get back up. See with the Daniel Barres fight, that was a very close fight on Contender Series, but able to get back up. So he's able to scramble. He's good at scrambling. I just think he's probably got the more well-rounded game here. I actually think the steam is right. Because again, I was really liking him as a dog. I don't like him as much as a favorite here, guys, but I think he wins. He's my pick. I think Hernandez wins a decision. That's what I think here, Marcel. I don't really trust Bondar. I think his record's padded. Wasn't impressed by his debut. He's fought once in the last 3 years. He pulls out of so many fights. I don't trust this guy. Actually, I hope he doesn't pull out this fight too. Because seriously, guys, since 2020. He's fought once. He's pulled out of, 4 fights? Is that right? Let me check here. Bondar withdrew. Bondar injury. Bout rescheduled. We'll give him a break on that one. And then Bondar withdrew. Marcel, I don't trust this guy to make it to the fight. I hope he does because I want to see the fight. But I'm going with Carlos Hernandez. I'll say decision. That's my pick. But it's possible he could submit him potentially too. You never know. But I think that, not most, but a lot of flyweight fights obviously go the distance. What do you think, man? You're taking Bondar or you're taking Hernandez?
It's going to be so boring for the people because I have the exact same breakdown as you.
Oh my
I
God.
like them as well, as the underdog, and now he's the favorite. He's going to win, man. Decision as well, I don't really feel confident in picking Bondar at all, I kind of agree with you. His record is kind of padded, if you look at who he beat. Yep. I don't think I picked Hernandez before, but I'm going to do it now. Hernandez decision here for me.
I remember last year when he fought, I think it was in Utah, right? That it was on the Usman and Edwards card. He fought
Altamirano.
Victor. And I got the wrong card, don't I? My bad. Sorry. Victor fought what's the other guy's name? The dude that gets knocked out by Jeff Blue. Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, it wasn't that card.
The Brazilian, you mean?
Yeah, I'm talking about Daniel Lacerda.
Lacerda.
De Silva. Yeah. You gotta change his name. It got me confused for a second. Yeah, sorry. I meant to say this fight last year, it was on the Makachev green card, but I remember talking about it with you in the podcast, and I'm like, man, this is a super close fight. I don't know. I'm leading Hernandez by split decision. That's literally what I said, and that's what happened. So I think I have a decent release, dude. Because I remember, I guess that's too. I'm like, he's going to get subbed.
You picked Hernandez by split decision. I picked Altamirano by split decision, so that was really fun.
I think that's what happened, actually. I think so. So we both have the same read. Anyways, get to comments here. Marcus is asking a question. Marcus Mustard. Is Marvin a nickname? No, he doesn't have a nickname, no.
The Italian Dream?
Oh, sorry. Is it the Italian Dream? Yeah. Actually, is it? Yeah. My bad. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. Yeah, it's still listed on UFC stats. He didn't get rid of his nickname. It's still the same nickname. But my bad. Sorry, there's so much going on here. Anyways, let's go to the next fight, Marcel. We got Kang taking on Christian Quinonez in the UFC bantamweight division, and this could be a pretty good fight, between a veteran and a young guy at 135. Marcel, I love the bantamweight division. Actually, there are 3 bantamweight fights on this card. It is the best weight class in the UFC right now by far, in my opinion. This fight features Christian Quinonez is favorite here, -160. Kang plus 140. You want to start on this one, man? I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's difficult. My initial thought would be maybe Kang, but if you look at it, to be honest, the last 2 fights, he lost to Ronnie. He won against Vettori Dana. Quinonez looked impressive against Kalita in his debut, but I don't rate Taha really high, to be really honest. So that's what makes it difficult here, in my opinion. If you look at the way these guys win, I always felt like Kang is super underrated in the UFC. I always felt that way, At the same time, man, Kang is getting older. He's 35 already. It's not super old, but it's 35 already. And Christian is 27. There's an 8-year age gap here. I feel like Quinonez is trying to get up the cliff, and I feel like Kang is a little bit like stationary or going down right now. Where they meet right now, it's really difficult. I don't know who's favorite here.
Quinonez, minus 160, plus 140 on Kang.
Yeah, I'm going with I want to say I go with the underdog because I thought Kang was the favorite, but no, I'm going with Quinonez. Late finish, man. TKO third round.
Yeah, this is a tricky one. I thought Quinonez is a good prospect. Obviously, I picked him against Todd. I think I picked him by knockout too. I think in my article too. So I know he's good. Obviously, his brother Jose fought in the UFC. He wasn't very good. This brother's way better. He's a pretty good fighter. Dangerous. He's young too. He's only 27 actually. He just turned 27. He's a pretty good fighter. Overall, right? But I don't know. Kang has been in the UFC a long time. He's been in the UFC for 10 years now. He obviously had a few years off where he did, I think, in the military service, like Korean Zombie and those guys. So he took a few years off, and since he's come back, man, he's been competitive in all his fights. I guess the Yaya fight, he did lose the decision, but he did drop him in that fight early on, and then he got all grappled. It happens, but I was impressed with the Denard Bakary fight, man, because that guy's a good striker. He outstruck him in that fight, so that was impressive, and a lot of experience in the UFC. His record in the UFC is very good too. It's 7-3-1, no contest. It's a very good record. And he's fought a good mix of opponents, to be honest with you, grapplers, strikers, everyone. I think he's pretty good. I think he's underrated. And I have more confidence in him pulling this off because the experience and the grappling. I know Quinonez is a pretty good grappler too, but I don't know. I have question marks about him still. He might go out there and look great. It'd be good for the division because again, he's young guy on the upswing, and he could definitely win this fight. But my lean is towards Kang, Marcel. I think he can kind of grind this one out, man. Uses veteran experience here and win a 15-minute decision. So that's my pick. Kang as a dog. Do you guys like the poster for the event? Yeah, it's pretty good, I think. You know what? I stopped caring about the posters a long time ago, to be honest with you. So many people get worked up over it. I do think it's a decent poster. I'm just saying, I don't care what the poster looks like. It's not like that, makes me hard or something like that. It gets me excited, Marcel. You know what I mean? I look at the fights. That's what gets me excited. The posters doesn't mean anything to me. How about you, though? You like the poster, I guess? Or
I really care about the poster. I'm not going to bitch about it if I don't like it, but I always wonder how they look, So that I really like. Yeah. I like visuals, graphic, that kind of stuff, So, that's really I love to look at. So, do I like this poster in particular? It's different, I think it's different than other posters, so I like it. It's not like face random. Now it's really it's like a neon color kind of thing. It's not bad, kind of a little bit reminds me of Halloween for some reason, but I don't know. But it's a fun poster. It's okay.
Fair enough. All right, let's get into the next fight.
What did you think about those posters back in the day from Pride, where you had a mother where a baby was? She was nursing a baby.
I thought those were pretty cool too, personally. Anyways, let's get into the next fight here. We got the flyweights again, Marcel. 3 flyweight fights in this card as well. Jimmy Flick taking on Alessandro Costa. Odds for this one: Costa minus 245, Flick plus 210. Marcel, I don't know who you're picking in this fight. I know you like Jimmy Flick. How could you pick him here though? How can you pick this guy anymore? It's hard to trust now. His durability is a huge question mark. I've seen him turtle up in fights if they're not going his way, and I don't like seeing that from a fighter, man. I think this guy had a nice run going, submitting a bunch of guys, then retired out of nowhere, and they came back and looked horrible against Charles Johnson. Horrible, gets finished in that first fight. He's actually been knocked out in all of his losses by knockout. 6 of his losses. Again, he's one of these guys that's a front runner. If things go really well for him, especially on the ground, he's going to win his fights. He has a lot of submissions. First round, super dangerous. He can do crazy shit, as we saw in the debut against Cody Durden with that flying triangle. It was impressive, right? That's what he's known for, this crazy submission game. But the striking's extremely limited. The chin is bad. The durability is poor. I just think he's a guy you have to fade. You have to fade this dude. And Costa, I get it, guys. He's coming off that knockout loss against Amir Albazian. That was surprising at the time, but had a nice run before that. Came from that Lux Fight League, one of the better fighters from that promotion. Man, I think he's a good fighter, dude. I like this guy. Again, I know he lost his last fight, got knocked out, but we all rate Amir very highly. We all know he's a good fighter. This guy's solid too. I do like him here, Marcel. I think he knocks out Jimmy Flick. I think he's going to probably ground and pound him. That's kind of where he gets a lot of his finishes. So I really like Costa here again as a favorite, and I think he knocks out Jimmy Flick. What do you think?
Same. Alessandro Costa. I mean, I cannot pick Jimmy Flick, man. Definitely not based on that last fight when he came back against Charles Johnson. He looked really bad. And I think Alessandro Costa looked decent against Amir Albazi, but I mean, that was a short notice. And Amir is legit, Costa, he trains with Diego Lopez. Those are teammates. I like Costa a lot. I think he is a very talented guy, and I think he puts Jimmy Flick away as well. So I don't know. I go with second round TKO, but I'm also on Costa's side here.
Again, Flick gets finished all his losses, guys. This fight's not going the distance. That's for sure. There's just no way. Either Flick gets that quick submission or he gets knocked out, which I think is much more likely personally. So, all right, Marcel, we'll get to the last prelim here. This is a good one too, man. Raoni Barcelos taking on Miles Johns at 135. Again, this weight class is just incredible. It's just such a good weight class. Odds for this fight, we have Barcelos minus 240. So a big favorite here against Miles John plus 205. I'll just say right now, I think the odds are a little bit wide, because Barcelos is on a decline, guys. He's 37. Or I think he is. Let me double check. Sorry. He's 36, right? Yeah, 36. Yeah, 36. Sorry, not 37. 36. But he's lost 3 of his last 4. He's been on a bit of a decline. He is, because again, we talked about him a lot right in this podcast. We all said he should have been signed years ago. He got signed too late. He had a nice run. Kind of feel like it's on the decline now. Obviously, getting knocked out by Umar's going to beat a lot of guys, but the fact he got knocked out was very surprising. And that Victor Henry fight too, he didn't look great in that fight. But you know what, man? Johns is a guy that I think is a step down kind of in a way, especially from Umar. And Johns is a guy that's beatable. He's a decent fighter, but he's beatable. And Barcelos, I think Marcel will just be the more well-rounded fighter here. Just a slightly better striker, slightly better, maybe with the grappling, I guess, maybe pushing against the fence more or maybe taking his back at some point. I just have a little bit more faith in Barcelos despite the age. But at the same time, Johns is pretty good and he's got some power. So I would stay away from this one personally. I don't want to lay minus 240 on Barcelos after how he's looked lately. I'm not going to bet Johns either, plus 205. But I think, if anyone wants to take a shot at him as a dog, I don't think it's the worst bet either because he's got a chance. He's the younger fighter by 7 years. He's a pretty good overall fighter too. But, I got to go with Barcelos. I think he's a little bit more well-rounded. So even despite the age, I want to take him. What do you think?
You know how much I love Barcelos, man. But I don't know, man. He looked so good against Trevin Jones, remember? And he looked bad at some of these other fights where I was like, maybe he will do well, not against Umar, but against Victor Henry. And Victor Henry looked like, I said like crap against SSL, man, I remember. Miles Johns, kind of inconsistent in my opinion. He just got by Morales, was a close fight, I remember. Castaneda fight was really bad for him. Close fight, man. I see a split decision here. And then I'm going with the dog. I think I'm going with Miles Johns. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's possible for sure.
Close fight. Very difficult.
It's closer than the odds are indicating. Minus 240 is inflated. I like I said, I prefer Bleda or Costa at the same price, personally. Michael likes Johns too. It's possible. But I don't here's the thing. He's got 93% takedown defense, so I think the takedowns would be tough to get. But you never know. It's possible, right? Again, he is on a bit of a decline, so it's possible. All right, we'll go to the next fight, Marcel. I believe we're on the main card now, right?
Yeah.
So we have the first fight in the main card, Nicolas Dalby, the Danish Dynamite, taking on Muslim Salikhov, whose nickname is the King of Kung Fu. So it's a good nickname fight, that's for sure. The odds for this fight are very close, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, yeah, never mind. Sorry. Not anymore. Minus 180s, Muslim Salikhov, plus 155, Danish Dynamite. What do you think, man?
Yeah, man. So I really like Salikhov here, man. I think Salikhov is a good fighter, Salikhov is 39, but I still think he has some good power. He lost to Li Jingliang in the fight he was winning until then, I had the feeling, Got a good streak going in that streak. He got kind of lucky against Zaleski, not going to lie. That's split decision. I think Zaleski should have won that one. But besides that one, man, he looked really good, And he got a good win over Andre Fiallo last time out, third round knockout. But Fiallo is pretty much done after the first round. So, yeah, what can you say about it? Then you got Nicolas Dalby. He lost to Tim Means in 2021. After that, got 2 wins. The Claudio Silva fight was very uneventful fight. I remember, I think it was the opener of UFC London last year in July. And then he won against Warley Alves, a split decision earlier this year. It's like it's going to be a really boring fight, and Dalby tries to take a Muslim to the ground and tries to wrestle him maybe, or Muslim goes with tries to finish him on the feet. Yeah, it can go pretty much either way, but dude, I'm picking Muslim here. I think he wins a unanimous decision.
I think this is a close fight, man. This one too, I really do. Just the way they match up. Yeah, I expect Dalby to try to wrestle him a bit too. That's what I think is going to happen a bit here. Mm-hmm. Dalby's going to try to wrestle and get him down to the ground, and he has had some success in the past. So he's not the best wrestler, but he can mix it up decently. He's looked pretty good lately. He has a lot of experience in the UFC. Both of them do actually at this point. I think Salikhov more technical striker. There's no doubt. There's a lot of power, but again, both guys are older. There's no doubt. They're both 30. Muslim's 39. He had his birthday a few days ago, and then Dalby's 38. He's going to turn 39 later this year. So they're both, the age doesn't. It's not the age. It's just more like how they match up with each other. I just feel like Dalby's a little bit more well-rounded as an MMA fighter, personally. I think this fight's super close. I think it's going the distance probably. Could be a split decision. I'll take my shot on the dog here. Take Nicolas Dalby by decision, Marcel. I think it's going to be super close. So I guess we finally have a different pick. Well, I guess the last fight too. So finally we got some different picks here, Marcel. It took us a while, but got some. The last 2 fights both took a dog, so that's interesting. That's what I think. I think Dalby by decision, man. That's what I'm thinking. How much longer you guys think Dalby has left? A couple years for sure, I think. Yeah, he's been impressive. I mean, like he got knocked or submitted by Jesse Ronson, but Jesse tested positive for PEDs after that fight. So, he has that win over D-Rod, which was close, controversial, but still has the win. Tim Means, he's got some good wins. Both guys are solid. It's a good fight. It's a nice fight to open the main card. All right, well, the next fight here, we have the let's see here. Sorry, one sec, guys. Let's pull this off. Manuel Torres taking on Nicolas Mata in the lightweight division. Manuel Torres is favored here, minus 180, plus 155. Nicolas Mata. I like Manuel Torres in this fight, Marcel. Very impressed by this guy. I think he's good. I think he's got a lot of power, good striker, very rangy. Nicolas Mata, good striker too, but I question the chin. He got knocked out by Jim Miller, got knocked out a bunch of times in the past. Remember he fought Jim Miller? I think Jim was like a plus 200 underdog. I think we both picked him in that fight, by the way.
Yeah.
And the odds were insane. And I know he beat Cameron Van Camp, but that guy's not UFC caliber. This will be a striking battle. I just feel like Manuel Torres will get the better of him on the feet. Manuel Torres knocks him out. I like him here a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I really like Mata, but I think Torres has that crazy power, and he got actually that idiotic power, I would say. I think he probably puts him away in the first round, man, if he connects, and yeah, I'm also on Torres, and I think after this, Torres likely will be on the September 16 card, the Mexican one,
I would imagine so. I mean, Dana alluded to that. There's a question about, do you know any streams where I can watch the fights the Firewalkers? I'm not sure. Honestly.
We can watch it on UFC Fight Pass and on Discovery Plus. It's both on it. So.
Yeah, there you go. All right, next up we got Pat Sabatini taking on Lucas Almeida in the featherweight division. Odds for this one: Pat Sabatini minus 180, plus 155. Lucas Almeida. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm pretty clear about this one. You go first.
Well, I like Lucas Almeida a lot. I mean, he's a good striker, right? And I think I've been impressed by him. I picked him against Trezano, and he knocked him out. It was a dog there, I believe. I think he's a good striker. I don't know. Sabatini's still a well-rounded guy with a really good ground game. I mean, the last fight with Damon Jackson was surprising. He got brutally knocked out like that. It's not a good look, to be honest with you, going into this fight against a striker. But at the same time, I still think you can probably get him down to the ground. On the ground, he's the better fighter, there's no doubt. So Sabatini, I'll take him here. Win decision. I'm not super interested in betting him because, again, I'm not great at picking his fights, to be honest. So I'm going to stay away from it. But I'll pick him here to win the fight and hope that I get it right. What about you?
Almeida puts him away in the second round. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible, right? It's possible. So you're convinced he knocks him out, eh?
Yeah.
So you're getting dog money plus 155 on Lucas Almeida, who's a good striker. The fight with Daniel Zellhuber was very impressive, right? He's good. But again, Marcel, I'm not convinced about the ground game yet, so that's what worries me. But I mean, he's got a ground game himself too, so we'll see what happens. But I don't blame Marcel for taking a shot in the dog here. I think he's definitely got a chance. By the way, Mrs. Question, what do you think Torres' ceiling is? I don't know. Maybe like the 15th ranked guy. I mean, it's still pretty good, but don't think he's a champ or anything like that. All right, we'll go to the next fight here.
You should check what I sent you on WhatsApp, dude. This is what the UFC sent out today. You should check that.
Checking it right now, guys. We're doing this live. What's it saying? Marcel. Oh, I saw this. Yeah, I saw that, Marcel. So the UFC, we'll talk about this right now. Right next up is Armin Petrosian against Christian Duncan. The UFC put the poster up today. There was Chris Duncan, the lightweight fighter, I believe, or featherweight.
Lightweight.
What were they thinking with that? That's lazy and stupid. Yeah, this is Christian Duncan. This is the middleweight taking Armin Petrosian. Christian Leroy Duncan minus 175, Petrosian plus 150. What do you think?
Oh, I'm all over Christian Leroy Duncan here, man. I think he's such a good talent. Coming from Cage Warriors, I really liked him. Dude is vicious. He has Mark Weir in his corner, right? He's his coach. Really good talent out of the UK, man. I like him a lot. Good stand-up. Ground game is decent. If you look at Armin Petrosian, very sketchy ground game. Not really good. Also really stand-up. So I expect to see a finish here. I'm thinking Duncan, man, all day. I think Duncan knocks him out in the first or second round. Round, I'd say. Yeah.
I was all over Duncan against Dusko, and then Dusko got hurt, right? So, like, I want to see that fight play out. I don't think we learned anything about it. I mean, listen, here's the thing. Christian Duncan's undefeated as a pro, right? And he's looked impressive. I think almost all his wins are by knockout. But as an amateur, guys, he did lose quite a few times. So it's not like he's never tasted defeat before he has. He has a lot of amateur fights, Marcel. I don't know if you saw that. He has like 20 amateur fights. It's crazy. The guy's good. He's a good prospect, right? There's no doubt. But I also think Petrosian's a really good fighter, great striker. His takedown defense sucks, though. That's the problem. 25%. It's fucking horrible. That Adrian Dobson guy could have won if he just took him down, but he just refused to wrestle. Mark Coleman was screaming at him, wrestle. He wasn't doing it. Kyle Brawl showed the blueprint. Same with Gregory Rodriguez took him down. But, again, the striking's great. Like, the volume is really good. The striking's very, very good. Very technical, very sharp, powerful. And he's got more experience in the UFC at this point. I like this guy. I mean, I'm with you. He does have a sketchy ground game. That's how Christian Duncan should try to win this fight, by taking him down to the ground. I think if it stays on the feet, Petrosian could stick and move. And I understand there's a big reach disadvantage here for him, but he's proven he could beat guys with longer reaches before in the past too. So I don't know, man. I think this is a super close fight. Personally, I'm going to lean slightly towards Petrosian, Marcel, to outstrike him and win decision. That's my lean here. But he could get finished for sure because, like I said, CLD's got really good finishing ability and he's a good fighter. So it should be good. If Duncan wins, the UFC's going to maybe try to get him quickly on that London card, I would guess, if they could. But depends if he comes out unscathed or not. Let's go to the next fight here, guys. 38. Okay. We got the co-main event, Marcel. Armin Petrosian taking on Joaquin Silva in a fight that just doesn't make sense. Minus 1,100 for Arman, plus 725 for Joaquin Silva. Listen, I know Joaquin, he's been in the UFC a long time. He's actually been in the UFC for almost 10 years, which is crazy because you wouldn't think that, right? This is his 8th year. And he actually has a nice record. It's 5-3. It's not bad, with 3 wins by finish. But, I mean, this is such a huge step up in competition to Arman, who's just dominant with their grappling. And, I know that they call him Neto BJJ. I think he's a black belt, I'm pretty sure. They call him Neto BJJ. He's more of a striker than what we've seen. I don't know, man. I don't trust this dude at all. And Armin's just an absolute monster, I think Armin takes him down, beats the shit out of him. I think it's going to look like that fight with Joel Alvarez where he takes him down, just smashes his face apart, cuts his face open, doctor stoppage, referee stoppage, first, second round. Armin wins for sure. But minus 1,100 isn't just the odds are not, the juices are worth the squeeze. Go for a prop. Look for the finish. Look for a TKO. I absolutely think he finishes him. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, man. I mean, don't understand this fight, to be honest. I understand nobody wants to fight Armin for some reason. The reason is obviously, but I mean, good for Joaquim. He took the fight, good chance for him, but I don't think he wins. I think Armin wins all day. Probably uses wrestling. Does he get a finish? Very likely. I would say second round, ground and pound TKO by Armin. That's what I would.
Yeah, I'm convinced he ground and pounds him and finishes him. That's the way he's been finishing his fights. And Joaquin's not going to be able to stop his takedowns, guys. And just the ferociousness of this guy's ground and pound is to be beholden. So he absolutely wins. And like Pato says at the comment here, you better have a call it ready. You know, he's going to win this fight. You better have someone in the top 10 ready to call it. Maybe Dariush. I don't know. That would be an interesting fight potentially. All right, guys. Main event. We have Marvin Vettori taking a Jared Cannonier 5 rounds or less. Probably goes the full 5, I guess. It's a very close fight at the odds. Some books actually have Jared as a slight favorite. Some have Vettori as a slight favorite. So I'll just say it's a pick-up fight right now. Again, there's different books have different odds, so take a look at them. Do some line shopping if you want to bet this fight. But we'll say it's a pick-up fight, minus 110 each, okay? We'll say that. Just because, again, I'm seeing different odds on some sites. Odds for this one, sorry, as far as the fight goes, excuse me, we know the odds now. I'll start to you, Marcel, on this one. I think it's going to go the full distance. I already said that. I think it's going 5 rounds. I think you do too. They're both super tough. Vettori I don't think he's ever been finished. Cannonier, since moving to middleweight, has just been obviously very durable as well. I think it goes the distance. Cannonier's going to hang in there, man. He's a good striker. He's got power. But Vettori's, I think, the more well-rounded fighter too. So, and he could take one, man. He's got a good chin. Goes the distance, and Vettori wins a close decision, in my opinion. I think he's going to get a couple takedowns here and there. You know, Cannonier, great fighter, but the takedown defense is one of his weaknesses, 64%. You know, Strickland even took him down his last fight. Derek Brunson took him down. He did knock him out after, I get it, but the takedowns came there. A lot of his wins came against strikers. Against grapplers, not so much. Vettori, very good grappler, obviously. You know, pretty good striker too. Very tough. Vettori wins by decision. What do you think?
Yeah, this is kind of like a fight in nobody's land. You know, both guys are like, I think number 3 and number 4, but they both know they're not going to fight for the title if they win here. I'm also on Vettori, man. I think he wins a decision. I think it will be like a very close fight, not really eventful, to be honest. And I think Vettori wins. He uses his wrestling to win the fight. And yeah, both guys really don't have anything really on the win here, you know, not on the loss, on the win. This is like a fight just because, you know.
It's a placeholder fight. Yeah. It's 3 versus 4. Yeah. Well, you know, the winner's going to at least remain kind of relevant. But again, Marvin's lost to Izzy twice. He's not getting another title shot. Jared probably not, because he laid an egg in the title fight. Anyways, that's our picks. So overall, Marcel, excuse me, we had a lot of similar picks. Obviously, there's the prelims early on, but we did have a couple dog picks here. So for just to round it up, dog pick for me was Kang. Picked him as a dog. I took Dalby as a dog, and I took Petrosian as a dog. And Marcel took who did you take as a dog? Miles Johns. You took Lucas Almeida. So you took a couple dogs there too. So 2 for him, 3 for me, and the rest we all had like the same picks with I think the favorites. And then obviously the main event was a pick 'em. But we both went Vettori by decision. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I mean, we got through that 14 fights. I'm excited about this card, personally. Last question here for this card. There you go, the dog woof. How do you think even if it's against Cannonier Vettori? I think he's competitive. I mean, he looked really good last night. He looked good. But again, you know, Strickland made him look not so good. So every matchup's different. All right, Marcel, really quick before we get out of here, because I do have to go. I got my softball game coming up tonight, guys. But really quick, we're going to go do just check out PFL, if that's okay with you, Marcel. Really quickly here.
There's also Bellator, I think, this week.
There's Bellator too. We'll go through that really quick, okay? Give me 1 second here, guys. Pulling it out. I actually forgot there was the Bellator card. Bellator 297. Okay. I feel like they don't promote their cards at all. I don't know.
And it's a pretty good one. So, yeah.
Yeah, this one actually, this is the Chicago one, right? This is a good card.
Although they should have switched co-main and main, but okay.
Yeah, so we'll go into Bellator first. Give me 1 second here. We'll go into Bellator really quick, guys.
Can you put it on the screen?
I can, yeah. But okay, we're gonna go through this quick because I don't have a lot of time to spend.
No problem.
Guys. Let me pull it up here. Share screen. Where the heck is? Oh, here we go. All right, here we go. All right, guys. So Bellator 297. Vadim Nemkov against Yoel Romero. I mean, Vadim Nemkov wins. I'm fading Yoel Romero. What is he? 47 now? How old is he? 46, turning 40. Yeah, turning 40. He just turned 46. He did look good in his last couple of fights. I don't trust him, man. I don't at this point in his career. Nemkov, I know, you know, the fight with Corey Anderson, the first one, you know, he probably would have lost that fight if Corey didn't have that clash of heads. But I don't know, man. He's good still. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, let's just go through the picks, man. Vadim, I'll go for Dean.
Yeah. Okay, so Sergio Pettis and Patricio Pitbull. Ooh, this is tough because honestly, man, like I've always underrated Sergio Pettis. I have not been great at picking his fights. Like when he fought Benavidez, like I didn't think he'd win that fight. And even in some of these fights he's had in Bellator, but this was tough because Pitbull's making his 135 debut, but he's the greatest Bellator fighter of all time, probably. I'm thinking, I guess I would lean towards Pitbull. What do you think, man?
Same. I also picked Pitbull here.
I'm just going to look at the odds really quick, Marcel. Odds, for reference, Vadim Yemkov is minus 330. Pitbull's actually minus 230. Okay, so that's interesting. I thought there'd be a little bit closer. I think Pettis has a chance to win decision, honestly, especially if Pitbull, the weight cut's bad and he gasses, but I don't know. You have to pick him here. Next up, we got where is it? Here we go. Corey Anderson against Phil Davis. Corey Anderson's minus 160. I'm picking Corey Anderson. You?
Me too. Yeah.
Phil Davis, again, he's been around a long time, but I don't know if he's as good as he used to be. Daniel James against Gokam Sarakam.
I'm picking James.
James is actually the underdog, and I like him here as an underdog. I think he should be favored to win. He's looked great in Bellator. Honestly, man, if he wins this fight, they should give him a title shot. He pretty deserve it, I'm thinking James. Kyle Cruckler, Bobby Nash. Cruckler wins. Bobby Nash, you can't trust. He's a huge favorite, minus 230. I don't know this guy, Peter Buist against Gadzi Rabananov. I don't hit him, Gadzi, but
Peter is my boy, dude.
Is he? Well, Gadzi's minus 700, so your boy's going to probably get his ass kicked too.
Yeah, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Jaleel Willis against Ramazan Kurmagomedov. Ramazan should win. He's minus 260. Wasn't he in the UFC and they let him go or something? What happened?
I'm picking Jaleel here for the upset, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly happened, but he was at a certain moment, then he wasn't, and Dana didn't want to sign him after that Jordan Williams win because he thought Jordan Williams won. So
that's right, I remember that. Anyways, the rest of the fights, do you have any picks here? Carl Moore and Alex Polizzi?
I'm taking Polizzi. Let me see. Archie Colgan is interesting. Mike Hamill against Shamil Nikayev is a fun, but I pick Nikayev there.
Okay.
Norbert Novani is somebody to take a look on. Kizriev is a fun fighter. Yeah, pretty much it.
Jordan Newman's minus 1,200 against Matthew Perry, the guy from Friends. No, I'm kidding. It's not that Matthew Perry. The Care Bear. Look at this dude. Did you see this guy's profile? Oh my God, that's actually an amazing shirt. Come get some. The Care Bear. Who is this guy? Yeah, he's gonna lose. Let's be honest. And then Cody Lott. Oh, Cody Lott. What's his odds? Minus 500. This fight's it's a pro fight. Okay, pro fight, but 1-3 record. Wow. Okay, so we got through that one. Let's go to the PFL now, guys.
Sure.
1 second here. PFL this week should be a pretty good card, I would guess. Let's take a look at it. Here we go. PFL 5. Delia against Maurice Green. Delia knocks him out, I think. You like him there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
Larissa Pacheco wins. Easily. Biagio Ali. Oh, it's his pro debut. Okay, interesting. He wins, obviously, right?
Yeah, of course.
These are all setup fights, guys. Aspen Ladd should win too.
Yeah.
This one's kind of more interesting. Sheffield, can be an upset guy at times, but I'm going
Ferreira,
with Ferreira.
Yeah.
Dennis Goldstov wins against Jorgen. I'm pretty sure. What about this one? What do you think about Evelyn Martins? Do you like her?
I picked Martina, dude.
Yeah, the grappling, eh? Danilo Marquez against Marcelo Nunes. Who you like in this one?
I'm not really familiar with Nunes, to be really honest.
Yeah, Marquez, he looked good in his debut. I'll give him in PFL. Bud, I don't know about her, man. I think she's kind of on decline. This fight could be boring, I think, with Jindrova, excuse me. Any thoughts?
I mean, I would still take Julia Butt because I don't think Martina Jindrova is so good. So,
Olenek Kolesnik against Yoko Higashi. I don't know anything about
Kolesnik. Yeah.
Patrick Brady against Jordan Hederman. That's the guy from Tough.
Yeah.
Patrick Brady, I've heard really good things about.
Me too.
But he's like 39 though, so it's tough. I don't know. What do you?
No, it's not tough. One? He wasn't tough. Sorry,
like?
That's okay. I would say Jordan Hederman, dude.
And then this one, Pinson versus Freeman. Denzel Freeman. It's a good name. I don't know. I have no idea.
What about Morgan Washington?
That's a good name. Honestly, his parents must have been like, okay, we got the best, two of the best actors of all time.
Yeah,
exactly. Watch Morgan Freeman, right? It's good. All right, excuse me, guys. All right, we'll take just a couple more questions. Marcel, we got to get out of here in a second. I have to go. Just a couple questions, guys. We're surprised Brent Primus beat Mansour. Very surprised. I know you were too. Any hint who Gurm's going to fight? You have any idea? You know?
Nope.
Thoughts on George Hardwick having to find Dana White's contenders? I mean, you should just be in the UFC, but they need to have some fighters on.
I think both guys should be on the UFC, man. I also think that our Abdul Karim Al Sawadi deserves to be in the UFC to get a chance at least.
Thoughts on Andrew Tate? I don't care. I don't really follow it, to be honest with you.
I mean,
Loser Cation, Poirier. Sorry, go ahead. You didn't answer.
What's the deal with the UFC signing all these women like last week, like 4 or 5? You know?
No idea. If you loser Gaethje, Poirier, Armin, who would you guys have? Probably Armin because he's so dominant with the grappling.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. I gotta go. Appreciate everyone tuning in today on short notice here on Sunday. So no podcast tomorrow, but we should be back next Monday after that to do the recap for UFC Vegas 35 and then preview UFC Jacksonville to Puri and Emmett. So it's going to be good. Hope everyone has a great week ahead and hope you guys all make some cash. And, we've been doing a lot better with the picks lately. Where's the one guy that was hating on us for all our shitty picks like last month and he stopped coming by more. So we've been doing a little better, Anyways, like, share, subscribe, guys. Tell all your friends about it. We'll be doing shows for Dana White Canadians, not separate show, but we'll talk about it during the weekly show. Hope everyone has a great week. We'll talk to you guys soon. Take care, everyone. Peace. Thanks again. Bye.